everybody? Ty here. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. So, in recent time, we've been talking about the weather pattern as a whole here and how we're not going to have a whole lot in the way of activity. No significant storms, no major severe weather threats, or really even winter weather threats right now. As you can see here on the SPC screen, you can see that we don't have any real area of interest through the entire 8-day period. The first time we see even a hint of possibility of severe weather is towards that 8th day as of right now. This is all in conjunction to what we've been talking about over the last few days with the weather pattern being a bit quieter right here. We can also take a look at the winter weather probabilities for significant snow. All of that is mainly reserved over towards the Mountain West over the 1 to 3 day time frame, and there might be a small chance of some precipitation occurring up towards the far reaches of the Northeast by the 4 to 7 day time frame as well. With the recent cool down, things have kind of leveled off a little bit, but just as quick as we're going to cool down, and keep an eye on the bottom left corner of your screen here, watch the ridging that we're going to see out towards the west and the record temperatures that are going to result from this as well. So as we see the GFS and the Euro moving along here, see a little bit of troughing occurred, and then watch how this ridge builds in, and we're going to see some record-breaking temperatures over here. To put in perspective for you how extreme the difference is going to be with this, we were looking at negative 45 degrees over here in parts of North Dakota, and now we're potentially going to be dealing with 60-degree temperatures here. So that is almost a 90-degree temperature swing. We'll get into the details with the actual temperature map in just a moment here, but some mind-blowing stuff going on here with the weather, literally from one extreme to the other. Now, eventually, as we go further along here, you'll see an increase in the amount of troughs that are moving in here, especially troughs like these. And these are going to be the ones that we'll have to watch for severe weather as we get further into the month of March here, especially within that first week. I would say that in particular, the one that interests me the most as of right now is this trough that's over here on the 5th and heading into the 6th. Like I said, we're looking into the medium to long range here, so not a lot of confidence to be had in this just yet. But as you can see, that even the Euro is showing an increase in activity with the troughing here, so at some point we are going to get into some kind of active weather pattern again. Just how significant that will be is still yet to be determined. But as we go through the 9 to 16 day time period here is when I think that we'll start to be on guard for, at the very least, severe weather. Winter weather is still possible too, but I think for the most part a lot of that is going to stay mostly off to the north and northeast here, and of course out towards the west. Now let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes here. The big talking point, of course, as we mentioned before, which is the temperatures. As you can see here on the screen, we've already warmed up quite notably here compared to what we were dealing with. If we were to go back about 3 or 4 days prior, you could actually see pretty clearly the negative 40 and 50 degree temperatures over towards the far northern states. We're already up to 24 degrees by the time we're making this video, actually a little bit beyond that. And as we continue to go forward, watch what happens out towards the west. You can already see the warm air beginning to build, and then look at that, getting into 40, getting into 50, and then here we go. This is where we start seeing those 50s and 60s starting to reach into the region here. This is going to be how we look. This is how the end of the month's going to look for a lot of us. For some of us, we were dealing with temperatures either below zero or in the teens. In my area, we were dealing with the teens. We've gone from teens all the way up to 51 degrees. So, as I mentioned before, not the best weather when it comes to keeping your immunity up. So, of course, make sure you're doing what you have to do to keep yourself healthy. But as we go further along, it's not like we're going to be fully done with the cold air. There is going to be some movement. This is mainly going to stay refined out towards the east. But this is not going to be a long-lasting or significant cold event, because as you can see, as we get towards March 5th and beyond here, we're going to start to warm up. But then, this is where you have to start paying attention to things. Because look at this sharp gradient that we have here between this warm sector and this cold sector right here. This could be a sign of trouble. Like I said, this is getting pretty far out in advance. We're past the 10-day mark at this point. But it's usually signals like these that I look for to keep an eye on potential trends down the line for severe weather. Usually when you have some kind of boundary, usually this is going to be associated with some kind of boundary. And in this case, I would think that this one's going to be pretty strong at this point. It's not the sharpest gradient that I've seen, but when you're going from 58 to about 42 to even 39 degrees within maybe an hour or two time frame here, that's pretty significant though. But nonetheless, here it does look like a very stout storm system is going to roll through as of right now, at least based off of the two models that we've been looking at here. Like I said, not a lot of confidence yet because we're 10 days out. This could easily change or even disappear completely. So taking this with a grain of salt, of course. But as we continue to go forward, we kind of keep flip-flopping back and forth over the course of the first 10 days of March here. So as a result, I do think we're going to have a very active first week, and then especially as we get towards the middle part of the month, based off what I'm seeing right now. This warm sector in particular is what intrigues me most. Like I said, there's still other factors that we have to take into account in regards to severe weather. Gulf moisture, of course, surface temperature instability, troughing, trough axis, all that kind of stuff. But as a result here, though, Dixie Alley in particular might be a point of interest here. So make sure if you're over here towards the deep south that you are staying tuned for that. Now, we're going to wrap this one up pretty quick here. Give you guys a nice little bow. Since we don't have a whole lot to talk about in the way of winter weather, we're just going to kind of run through this precip map, and that's pretty much going to be it. Now, one thing I want to make clear, that even though I said we aren't going to see much in the way of significant weather, we're still going to have opportunities for showers and thunderstorms as a whole here and some isolated snow showers. Their impacts, however, will not be significant. You can see we still have a little bit of activity over towards the Great Lakes, a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow mixed in. But like I said, these storm systems are not looking nearly as stout as some of the stuff we were seeing about a week ago, or the stuff that we experienced a week ago, I should say. We were seeing this about a week out. Like I said, little scattered snow showers here and there. Accumulation should be rather minimal at this point. It's really not until we get into March where we start to see more notable activity there. And even so, it's not going to be more so towards the 5th and the 6th when we start to see the more impressive storm systems like this right here. Now, of course, as we mentioned before, that we're pretty far out in the range, so no guarantees that this even ends up occurring. This is going to be a very questionable system as well, or at least this look will end up being questionable, so to speak, due to the fact that there's still a lot of unknowns in regards to the surface low and how far this warm sector could advect to the north here. With that warm air advection, I do think that the potential for freezing rain will be possible if this scenario does indeed play out with wraparound snow on the backside. Also notice that you see a pretty stout looking line of storms come into play here as we get towards the 6th. And then from that point, this is where we start to kickstart the more active weather pattern here. This could be action over here towards the mid-Atlantic right now, but we've seen recently that this region has been a bit of a winter weather hole, so we'll have to see whether or not this ends up verifying. Obviously, we're getting into the 2-week or 14-day range at this point, so not a lot of confidence to be had in that, but you can just see how things start to pick up from the 5th and the 6th onward at this point here. So, like I said, a lot that we're going to be keeping track of as we go further and further into the month of March here. But that being said, this is a quick one for you guys. We'll have even more detailed videos as the time frame comes ever closer to whenever the weather pattern does pick up. But this is all I got. Hope you guys enjoy your Sunday, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care and have an awesome rest of your day.